So you know what's crazy to me is
What?
that a game from 2009 is still one of the most fun games I think I played. Left 4 Dead 2.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's maybe the only couch co-op game that's left from that era.
Well, it's just endless fun because the way they did the AI, it's like you're playing a different game every time you play, and the workshop's keeping that thing
I
alive.
was gonna say the mods, like Skyrim, the mods keep it just fresh and
Yeah,
new.
just breathing new life into that sucker.
Who's your favorite character in Left 4 Dead?
Ellis,
Alice? Why?
easy, because he's hilarious, dude. If you look at Nick, and it's funny because of course that's my name, right? So
Hmm.
you look at Nick and you just spam the talk key, and you'll just hear him go Nick, like all Southern, dude. It's hilarious.
Do you
All
have
right, here's your
a
huh,
least? Do you have a least favorite map?
Rochelle. Oh,
Oh,
I thought you were gonna say character. I was
dang.
gonna say I don't like her voice lines, but no map.
Yeah, map.
Uh, I think just because it's the one I've played the most, it's not even my least favorite because I think they're all great. But it would be the first one, the hotel ending in the mall.
Hmm.
I forget what it's even called.
My favorite map is a mod map, the Helm's Deep map.
Yeah.
I think that one's really
Oh,
fun.
the survival.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
yeah. I haven't played that one in so long, but when we were playing it
It,
earlier, was going through and deleting my mods, and I saw it, and I was like, "Oh my god, I want to play that one."
dude, it's so good. They got a campaign too, Lord of the Rings campaign.
I did not. I know that we played that Minecraft one. That was,
That one sucked.
yeah, it was kind of junk.
It was like that Toys too. Caitlin and I played earlier. It was
Toys
just
too.
yeah, it was just a survival map where you're like essentially as small as a toy and you're in like a kid's room
Oh,
with a bunch of
that's
like toys and dressers and stuff.
that's that's not fun. You know what though? Have you tried the oh god, what's it called? It's a game where you play as like a toy soldier.
Yeah, from like the Toy Story. It was
Yeah,
on the
uh,
PS2.
no. This one just came out. It's a Royale game. It's called Mini
Oh, the
Royale.
no. I've not played that one.
You play as like a toy army man, and you're in like a child's room, but it's like a battle royale.
Okay, no, I haven't seen that at all. But it kind of sounds like a minor rip off of that game I'm talking about, where you're one of the army men from Toy Story.
I think I know what you're talking about, and you could I think you could command units in that.
Pretty sure.
That was a good
I don't
game.
know. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Well, welcome everybody. Welcome back to the Big Cheese Talk Show. I'm Daniel,
And I'm Nick.
and today we're going to be discussing the top 10 worst video games on our lists and going down some more news.
Yeah, so we hit you with our favorite. Now you're gonna get our least favorite. Personal opinions incoming.
Yeah,
Orbital opinion incoming.
orbital opinion.
Got to get some Helldivers lingo. I'm getting so into that game, dude.
Dude, you've been playing a lot of it.
Level 21.
That's crazy.
I started playing Monday.
You were 11 the other night.
I know. I know. I can't stop, dude.
Hey, you know what though? They listen to the community, and that's all you can really ask for a game
Hey,
company.
I was about to say when they backed down, I was like, yes, I'm jumping on the support train. Okay, because that was awesome.
Yeah,
I
you
still don't
gotta
like some.
support.
We'll get into it later. I don't like some of the stuff that they've still done after. We'll get into it, but them backing down and listening to the community was huge. And I know it's not the devs' fault, so I support the devs. I bought the game to support the devs.
Right? Yeah. I like Helldivers. It's hard for me to get into it though, because I feel like a lot of it's repetitive, and I think you'll see in this list that repetitiveness really bothers me, which is weird because I play Overwatch all the time, and it's the same thing over and over and over.
That's true, but it that's kind of a different story because it's like what games do you have that are cross play that your friends also have when you're trying to play cross play?
That's true too.
It's hard, and that's just one of the ones that kind of fall in. It's free, and it's just fun enough to keep you coming back to play with your friends.
right. I like the
I
diversity
wouldn't say
of it.
it's yeah, I wouldn't
Uh,
say it's a great game. I mean, it's fun ish.
like the graphics of it said diversity. I didn't mean diversity, but the graphics of it is
What?
really good.
What did you mean?
Uh, the graphics.
Okay. Love it.
Yeah.
Good save. All right, so let's start with number 10. You want to go first this time? I'm curious.
Sure. My number 10 is Pokemon Arceus. I don't
I
know.
have never heard of that.
So it's the Pokemon game that I believe it came after Sword and Shield. And the reason it's on this list is because they took out gym battles completely in it. And you basically just run around and catch Pokemon. There's no like battles in it. Plus the graphics on it were like really buggy and crappy. Looked like they like worked did a half-ass job on it basically.
So it's just like a bad Pokemon collecting sim.
Yeah, very bad.
Sounds awful.
Yeah, and it
I'm
was my
glad I've
favorite.
never heard of it now.
It was my favorite part about Pokemon games is like the battles and the gyms, and there's no
Yeah,
gyms in it. There's no battling in it. You just run around and catch Pokemon.
when you grow with your team, especially if you do a Nuzlocke run,
Oh God, yeah,
you get to know them.
yeah. It's just it could have been so good, and I believe it's one of the reasons why Pal World did so well is because it was like that. But if you imagine Pal World, but take out all the fighting.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That would not be nearly as fun as it was.
No, it was just horrible.
Well,
Which
I've got a fairly, I don't know how large it was on release, but I'd say it's a fairly large title coming in at my number 10, Shadow of Mordor.
ooh,
And that kind of plugs in with your, I don't like repetitiveness. I found the combat extremely repetitive. Now, I'll tell you what, I loved the fact that if you got killed by some random little orc, that he'd get promoted and he'd become like a little boss, right? I
uh-huh.
thought that was awesome. It was really cool. But just the fighting itself was just so repetitive. It's like that's most of the game aside from the story. It's story here like up top, and then right under that you have combat. And if the combat's not that engaging, I don't think it saves the story.
Yeah. I think I only played Shadows of Mordor once. I don't even think I ever owned it. I think someone I know had it. It might have been you.
Uh, Max played it a
No,
bunch.
that was it. That was it. I think Ralph really likes that game too.
Well, he's going to be very disappointed.
Yeah. Well, oh well. He'll
But
get
it's
over
it's all the way down at number 10. It's not my
it.
number one least favorite
All right.
game.
Uh, coming in at my number 9 is gonna be Banjo Nuts and Bolts.
Never played it. Another one.
So it was supposed to be the third Banjo Kazooie game, and it was about the time that Rare got taken over by Microsoft, and Microsoft started developing the Banjo Kazooie games. And did you ever play Banjo Kazooie or Banjo Tooie?
I've seen clips from Banjo Kazooie. I've never actually played any of the games.
So both of those games are really good. Like really, I mean, the story is old school. Like it's save Banjo's sister, pretty much. That's
Yeah.
like but the puzzle aspect to the game, the collecting puzzle pieces and leveling up and like going to the right levels to get the right puzzle pieces so you can get to the next one. Really diverse. It kind of fits up there with like Mario 64 for me and like some of my like top 10 childhood games.
Like the nostalgia feel games.
Yeah. But Nuts and Bolts, horrible story. It made it more about like cars and like racing, and it's just
Oh.
it was awful. I hate racing games. I hate car games.
Dude, there's one racing game. I mean, I'm not counting Mario. Mario Kart is not a racing game. I don't know.
No, I don't.
It
I
just
don't
hits
count it
different.
either.
But the only other like real racing game I ever got into was Wreckfest, and that's because it's a demolition, and it was kind of fun.
I
And you can run around on couches and lawnmowers.
I think there was one on the PlayStation 2. I think it was a Need for Speed. I think it was like Need for Speed Midnight Club or something on the PS2. I really liked,
Hmm.
but I was a kid then.
Yeah. I think I had one on the GameCube, like Underground. I didn't really
Jeez.
care for it.
But Nuts and Bolts, coming from Banjo 1 and then 2E, and then just like slapping us in the face with nuts and bolts. It was, you could tell it was a different developer. You could tell that the game was poorly made, and there hasn't been one since.
Probably because it was such a poor game. It sounds like,
Horrible.
at least from your opinion, which is the only knowledge now that I have of that game. It sounds like a terrible game.
Would not recommend. I would highly recommend 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Never touch
Well,
nuts and bolts.
I've seen the Saving Private Ryan scene. I think it was the first one.
What?
Is that in the first one where they're like dudes on the beach?
I
There's like machine guns.
don't know what you're talking about.
Am I not thinking of Banjo Kazooie?
With the bear?
Conker's Bad Fur Day. Never mind. I'm thinking. I've never seen.
Ah,
No, I've never played Banjo Kazooie. Then I don't even
yeah,
think I've seen it.
yeah.
I've heard of it.
It's
Never
with
seen
the
it.
bear.
Yeah, I'm
and a
thinking of
bird.
Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Hilarious game.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I was thinking. I got it mixed up because that's such a funny scene that I've seen. Um. Anyway, coming in at number 9 for me, and this kind of ties in with, as you know, my MMO hatred is The Division 2.
Oh.
Played it, never played the first one. Skip past it. I think I played it on PlayStation 4. Elijah was like, "Hey man, this game looks really cool. It's got guns." And I'm like, "All right, cool. It's a shooter, whatever." And it just sucked, man. I don't know. The fighting, the gunplay was nothing special. The story, I couldn't even tell you what it was about. I knew I had a gun and I knew I was shooting at people, and that may be the extent of my recollection of that game because it was just so unremarkable to me.
I think I also only played it once. I like MMOs, don't get me wrong, but I did not like the Division games. I thought that they were oversold.
Well,
They were
it was
like,
like it was a Tom Clancy, wasn't it?
yeah, I think so, but they were like promised something really good and really big, and it just, whenever it came out, it was very underwhelming.
See, that you have the whole I don't like repetitiveness, you said is the theme of your list. Mine is the overhyped and letdown of the game is the theme in my list.
Yeah, I mean that's a good
Because
that's good points.
it's like when the game affects like your wallet outside, like the
Hmm.
game comes out of the screen and starts affecting you. Like that, I don't like that at all.
Yeah,
So you'll see that pop up.
like you're talking like pay to play.
Well, pay to play or like when the devs are like, "Hey, we're going to release this thing and it's going to be great and it's exactly what you wanted," and then people buy it and it's they don't get what was promised. We'll just throw out for example Fallout 76 with the whole canvas bag fiasco, stuff like that.
Right.
It is I can't support that and it irritates me. I mean, that's going to make my list for
Yep.
sure.
Coming in at my number 8 is going to be Harry Potter and the Half Blood Prince on the PS2. Did you ever
Is
play?
this the? Is it? No, I never. Is this the infamous PS2 Hagrid?
No, no, no. That was it was Sorcerer's Stone or Chamber of Secrets. That was one of those. Half Blood Prince
Okay.
was, obviously it's the fourth Harry Potter, but the game took this weird turn and like changed a lot of the story. The graphics were horrible. The fighting was horrible.
Well, with a PS2 game,
You can't depend on
if everything
graphics.
else had been good, I would have been fine with graphics. You would have lost me at graphics.
Yeah.
But if it's not following an already set and established storyline, like you have all of the source, you don't even have to create a story. It's there. It's in paper. Have somebody read the book and make a game. That's lazy.
Yeah,
Or
it was
maybe it's not lazy. Maybe it's overworking. I don't know. You're going out of your way.
I think it's overworking. Like it's one of those like linear free roam games where it's like, oh yeah, it's open world, but you
Oh,
can only run that one direction. You can only get like to point A to point B. You can't go check the sides or anything.
is it like you have to do this thing to unlock this next area,
A hundred
and then
percent
once
yes.
once you unlock this next area, you'll never go back to the other one?
100% yes.
Well, then that's not open world. That's pointless.
Yeah, it's horrible. I
Okay.
enjoyed I can't remember if it was Sorcerer's Stone or Chamber of Secrets PS2 game Harry Potter. Those games were fun. And look at you, you got over 1,000 hours in Legacy.
Get out of here. I have played 4 hours of that game.
Legacy was fun though, and like those old games were fun because you could like get on a broom, you can ride it. I don't even remember if there was a broom in the Half Blood Prince game. Horrible.
Wow. Well, I got number 8, Fortnite.
Yeah.
Big title on there, but can't stand it, dude. And it could be just the whole battle royale thing that I don't really care for, the loot, shoot, and boogie.
Right.
I don't know. It doesn't scratch that itch for me. And I
I
don't like the build. I never build. I don't build. I don't like the building. I hate it.
I used to be really into battle royale games, probably back in like 2020.
When they
Uh,
were first like really hitting their stride.
yeah, because we used to play Warzone all the time, and me and
Yeah.
Jacob used to play Apex all the time. Back like
Oof.
before I even had a PC. Uh, I was working at Pilot. He was working night shift at a Dollar General, and uh, I'd get off at 11. He got off at 11. We'd stay up until like 6 a.m. Just us. Sometimes Matt, and we would play Apex. That's just what we did.
I
But
remember your Apex days. It's hard to get you out of that game.
yeah, I think the only thing that did was the forest.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of, I'm surprised that that game did not make either one of our top 10 lists.
I'm not surprised, only because it was fun, but we didn't do the story. I can't really.
I guess it's true.
Even though we played a lot of it, I don't feel like I can give it an accurate ranking because we didn't do the story.
We played so much of that game.
All we did was log dupe and build ridiculous structures and fire guns in the woods.
That was so funny.
I mean, it was great. I had an amazing time, but I mean, that was I can't really base a game off that. I don't think.
I love that. Oh my god, there's a mutant, and then you'd hear like 5 gunshots going off in the distance.
Yeah, or you just you hear hey, where you at, Daniel? And I just hear a gunshot off in the woods. I'm like, all right, I'll center on that. I'm running towards it. I'll fire in response.
uh,
What you got at 7?
my 7 is probably going to be a hot take for some people. Maybe like a
Mm,
specific niche for some of people. But Star Wars Battlefront 2, the remake. You ever played the remake of our beloved
the
2005 classic?
EA,
Yeah,
it's on my list.
it's on your list.
It's on my list. It's just not as low as it is on yours.
Yeah, it's definitely made my list because Battlefront 2 was
The classic.
probably, yeah, the classic was probably one of the best games I ever played on the PlayStation 2.
Mm-hmm.
And they touched it, and they defiled it, and they ruined it.
Well, they just said, hey, you guys want to play and win? Fork over some change.
Yeah, pay me. Pay me if you want to be good at this game. I hate that.
No, I hate it. It
And
ruins a game.
and like if you want to play a shooter like that, you're better off playing a Call of Duty game. And they're doing the same
And
thing.
that's saying something.
Yeah. But oh, I cannot stand Battlefront 2 the remake. It's I just
It's embarrassing.
yeah, I don't know why they had to touch something so
Well, you know what
good.
sucks is because I played it, right?
Mhm.
And when it first came out and it wasn't pay to win, it was a fun game. It was Battlefield Star Wars.
Right.
Futuristic Battlefield. It was fun, okay? And then they introduced that.
Yeah. And then like they took away the being able to like command troops or leveling
Yeah.
up as you like continued, or like I don't even know if they have the like what was it, like 50 on 50 battles that you could have.
Yeah, no, I think they did. I think just instead of bots, it was just they would fill it with real people. I think there still were bots in there, but there weren't as many because it was such a big game when it released.
Yeah.
But like one of my favorite modes was the space battles. You know, you can go over there, you can land on someone's ship, and you can destroy it from the inside. You don't even have to do that. You can go on the outside and you can destroy their ship. And even if you don't want to do that, you can just dogfight and get enough points. Back in the classic, I don't remember ever doing a space battle in the newer one. I don't know if they had it.
because they tried to make
They
it.
had dogfights.
They
but
tried
not
to
in
make it
space.
more Call of Duty like
Yeah,
because that's what was popular at the time. It was just like TDM or like capture the flag.
yeah. Well,
And
it was a lot of. I feel like they just copy pasted a bunch of stuff from Battlefield and said, let's just put Star Wars skins on everything.
I would compare it to COD mixed with Destiny,
Yeah,
and it was just a total flop in my opinion. What could have been such a good game turned into disaster
absolutely. I
by
agree.
paywalls.
I mean, like I said, I agree. It made both of our lists.
Yeah. What you got at 7?
Warzone.
Warzone.
Yeah, I know we just talked about it, but I mean, it sucks. Especially
Warzone's.
now, you log on to Warzone, you have a 2D menu that's lagging.
Let's talk about Warzone because that's my next one.
Really? All
Yeah.
right. Well, let's spend some time on this one. So, the reason I don't like it is, first of all, it's a hefty chunk of space. I had when I downloaded it because Elijah wanted to play it. I
Mm-hmm.
had a third hard drive that I wasn't using,
Mm-hmm.
and it took up almost that entire hard drive. I mean, it's not a big hard drive, but it's like what, like 180, 170, 180 gigs or something.
It might be 150. I don't know. It's a big
It's
chunk of.
huge.
Yeah.
It took me a couple hours to download it,
And
and then
hackers littered
yeah, well,
throughout the game.
that's once you're in the game. I'm not even in the game yet. I'm talking about you got the download, you load up the game, and I couldn't figure out how to play because I'm sitting here with all these prompts shoved into my freaking eye sockets, dude.
Right.
It's like, hey, here's the battle pass. Here's how you can unlock the battle pass. Here's how you activate the battle pass. Oh, do you want to buy COD coins so you can activate the battle pass? No, I don't want any of that. I want to hit play and
And
then
play.
do what the play button says I'll do and play.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, once you get into it, hackers.
hackers, server issues, lagging, shader issues.
Yeah,
And the fact that this game is still like Caitlin loves this game.
I
And
know. Well, she got into COD late,
she did. It's probably because
so
it
this is the
is
norm for
like
her.
her first COD,
Yeah,
but it's not what Call of Duty used to be
no,
by
not at all.
far. Like even what was it Black Ops 4 that had the blackout mode? Do you remember that?
Blackout mode.
It was like Battle Royale, but not.
Oh, I think it was Cold War.
Or was it Cold? It was one of them. I thought it was a
It was something. I don't know. I didn't really pay too much attention once they started introducing the boosting slides and the wall running and
Advanced Warfare. The death
yeah,
of
all
COD
that stuff.
is what I imagine it. My I think COD died for me around Ghost.
But I think realistically, the last one I played, like, and put a decent amount of time in, it was Black Ops 3.
I didn't
I
even beat
played some
three.
of the later ones. I played, um, I think some of the Modern Warfare 2 remaster. I played some of the very newest one, and then I played some of Cold War. I did some story, did some zombies, whatever. It was lackluster.
Yeah, I don't even think I played Black Ops 3 that much. I might have played it once or twice, but I played Black Ops 2 a lot. As you know,
Hmm.
that was my introduction to COD. It was the new COD whenever I first started playing games online. 10 out of 10 COD game in my opinion.
Yeah,
Well, 8 out of 10. And then we played World at War together.
dude,
Also
that was
really
my
good.
first online Call of Duty.
And the online was still good whenever Black Ops 2 came out because I had played it.
Hmm.
You still dealt with like a lot of hacked lobbies and stuff.
Yeah. Hey,
But
they actually brought it back.
did they really?
Yeah, you can. I mean, you're not gonna find more than a handful of lobbies on there, and some of them have ridiculous rules. I went on to play just a couple months ago, and I jumped into a lobby, and of course, you know how sometimes you jump into a server and it's like, oh, server rules, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not paying attention to that. I know how to play Call of Duty World at War, dude. That was my childhood. So I'm in here, running and gunning like you do, and the admin mentions me in chat. He says, "Hey, you're supposed to crouch." It's like, what? He's like, "Yeah, this is a no running, no standing server. You crouch and you walk. That's it. You
That's
can
all.
crawl."
You
I was
can
like,
crawl.
but he had done like, he had tried to make it more realistic. I guess kind of trying to make it more milsimmy.
Uh-huh.
So I can understand it, but yeah, it's not like it used to be. But you can still find some decent lobbies on there that aren't
I
hacked.
I occasionally, if I'm really bored will hop on a Black Ops 2 lobby, and they're up, they're good. Haven't ran into anything crazy, but I rarely play it.
Yeah.
But Warzone is just first of all, battle royale, and we've already touched on that. And second, pay to play, already touched on that. It's
Yeah.
just like a combination, and I only think it's popular because this is what I've always thought about Call of Duty. People play Call of Duty because their friends play Call of Duty.
Yeah. Yeah, and once your friends stop playing, you're finally allowed to stop playing.
Yeah,
But
and
somebody's got to break first.
yeah, and I think that's been true in the whole legacy of COD. Because back, like I was saying earlier, I stopped around Ghost because I was in a clan in Black Ops 2, and then
Surge.
yeah, and then
Shout out you, Surge.
the PS4 came out, and I was too poor to get a PS4. And then with the PS4 came Ghost, and Ghost was just first of all, it was, well, it's not Activision, it's the other one.
What? Treyarch?
No,
Sledgehammer?
no, maybe it was Infinity Ward.
Infinity War? They
Maybe
did, I think they did Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 1, and 3.
I think it was them.
I
I
don't
don't
think
know.
I think they got bought out or shut down or something.
I don't know.
I
Ghost,
could be 100% wrong. I'm 100% talking about things I don't know right now.
right?
Pre-warning.
Same.
Don't blast me, but
Go.
I
I don't
don't
know.
think they're doing Call of Duty.
Ghost came out and it ruined the clan. Everyone stopped playing together,
Yeah.
basically.
I recall at one point, here's your little moment to be put on blast. You saying that you enjoyed Call of Duty Ghosts.
Yeah. Because whenever I finally got a PlayStation 4, I bought Ghost, and I did enjoy it, but I didn't have friends to play it with.
I
So
see.
it died
Yeah.
because what's the point in playing it if you're just like mindlessly going lobby to lobby wrecking these noobs?
See, Call of Duty, the multiplayer started going downhill for me after Modern Warfare 2. I played that game. I was almost failing classes in high school. I played that game so much. I was like not doing my homework because I had like a group of people I had met online. And of course, my room was in the basement at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty much I come home, I go down to the basement, I hop on COD, I play till dinner, you know,
Yeah.
go back downstairs, ignore my homework still, and play more COD until I passed out.
That's what Black Ops 2 was for me. I get home, immediately go to my room, play Black Ops 2.
Yeah, start
And
closet sweating in there.
yeah, and it was on until like 9 or 8 or 9 or 10, and whenever I had to go to bed.
Yeah, I was so into it when I first got my 360 because it didn't have the built-in Wi-Fi, and
Oh
the
man.
Wi-Fi, yeah, the little Wi-Fi plug-in thing was too expensive. I think it was like $100 back then. So we ran we had 25 feet of Ethernet cable that we ran through the floor up to the router, and it was just barely enough. Like I had to put a book under my 360 so it could reach a single book because it was almost too short. Playing on my little box TV.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a big box. It was a big box TV in my room. I remember whenever I first got my first job, coming home, and uh I had bought like a 32-inch flat screen. World life changing
Oh yeah.
for COD.
So you said that your number 6 was Warzone.
Yes.
So we almost synced up on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
What do you have at 6?
my number 6 isn't a specific game. It's more of a genre that I also despise, and this one's not MMOs. It's the Mortal Kombat style games where it's
Oh my
side
god,
scrolly fighting games. I hate
bro!
those, dude.
my
Can't
next one is
stand them.
my next one is recent Mortal Kombat games.
So it looks like the middle of our list is almost syncing up here. It's kind of spooky.
Yeah. And I'm the same way. I liked old Mortal Kombat games. Mortal Kombat Trilogy on the 64 was awesome.
I'll see. I never even got into that.
But
It's just the
those
whole aspect of because I think my first intro was like the whole was it DC? Where you got like the Joker and Batman and
Yeah, like Injustice.
yeah, I think that's the first one I played, which was a garbage game in its own right. But I tried to play. I think I tried to play Mortal Kombat 11 when it came out, and I was just like, this isn't for me. I don't like the whole I can move left and right and then do a bunch of combos. Maybe I just don't like combo games. I don't know, but I've never gotten into those games. Don't care for them.
Yeah, it's I'm the same way with the newer ones because it was like you can do like one punch with square, and then you have to like hit like triangle and move forward and duck and do all this stuff. It just turns into like rapid button mashing that I don't enjoy, which is crazy because
Yeah,
I like Dragon Ball Z games, but that's probably a little biased for me.
probably because your childhood is Dragon Ball Z, coming
Yeah,
home and
yeah,
running to the TV to watch it before it
yeah.
starts.
So it's probably a little biased for me there, but put
Well, and
into
at least as far as I know, the Dragon Ball Z games aren't side scrollers. To me, that's the deal breaker.
the
I don't
old
like the
ones
button mashing
are
and all that, but
the old ones are side by side, uh, and then Fighter Z is side by side, but that's more arcade style. And I get
yeah.
that that's what they're trying to go for is more arcade style games, but I think it's so poorly done.
Well, because it's Capcom, right?
I don't know.
I want to say, and this is me just pulling stuff out of a hat here. I want to say that those are Capcom games, and I think Capcom did do the arcade machines. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it was Capcom that did those. Like, you go to the movie theater, you sit down,
Mm.
or you're waiting like 30 minutes to watch a movie. You run over to the arcade, and there's a bunch of those games. I'm pretty sure Capcom had those games.
NetherRealm Studios is who makes Mortal Kombat games now.
See, told you I'm pulling stuff out of a hat here.
Yeah.
Wrong hat.
Uh, but it's just I don't know. They feel clunky. They feel boring to me. And
Well, it's like outdated with good graphics.
yeah,
That's how I see it.
I think it was Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks on the PlayStation 2, where the story was like you could like run around and like do stuff. I thought that was really cool. I love that game. Old uh, Sum it up in a few words. Old Mortal Kombat games good, new ones bad.
Okay.
What do
And
you
that's fair. I can't really. I didn't play any of the old ones, so I can't really throw judgment on that. Just I know that genre. It's kind of like how we talked about racing games. Don't care for them. It's like that for me. Don't like them.
Yeah. What do you got at 5? Since that was my fifth.
5 is almost the exact same thing. It's another genre I hate, and you're familiar with my hatred for it. MMORPGs.
Yep.
Can't stand. I've tried so many, and you were there for most of them. I tried Black Desert, The Elder Scrolls Online. We tried RuneScape for a little bit. I tried World of Warcraft. I didn't like any of them.
I really enjoyed RuneScape as a child. Uh, Now, if I play RuneScape, it's because I'm waiting for people to get on to play something else. And even then,
Yeah,
I'm not really thinking. I'm like watching a video and I'm just like, it's just something to do, kind of like mobile games.
yeah.
But
Well, I mean, heck, you can get it mobile.
but man, back in the day when I was a kid, I loved it. I used to like the computer was in my dad's room, and I would sneak into his room at night, and I would play it. And it was like the first time I ever saw the sun come up.
Oh, that was your first all nighter? Was RuneScape?
Yeah,
There's some lore to unpack. That's pretty cool.
yeah, it was so fun. He's just like doing the same stuff over and over. Maybe that's why I don't like repetitiveness now.
And see, that's what always gets me. Is like almost all of my friends have played some form of MMORPG from their childhood. RuneScape and World of Warcraft are the big two. And they're
Mhm.
always talking about how much fun they had and the nostalgia. And I'm like, man, I want a piece of that. Maybe that's why I always try them to see if I like them, because I always hear about other people having a good time, and I want to have a good time playing a game, and I try them, and it's just not the same. Maybe it's just because I don't have that
Yeah,
nostalgia going for me.
I heard about RuneScape from this kid in elementary school who was like playing it, I guess. And I wanted to be cool, so I was like, "Yeah, I've played it."
And you hadn't?
Yeah, I hadn't. So I immediately went home and asked my dad if I could download it, and he was like, "I'm not paying for anything," and I was like, "It's free, please." And so
Nice.
I got to play it, and it is 100% nostalgia that makes that game good. Because I don't even play the new RuneScape. I play old school RuneScape.
Yeah, I would be honestly interested to know how many new players that they actually bring in.
I don't know. I mean, we got friends like JT who plays RuneScape like religiously.
He does. His I feel like his two games are RuneScape and League of Legends.
Do
And then
they?
League of Legends isn't. It didn't make my top 10 worst games list because I've never played it, but I feel like it's another game I couldn't get into.
I tried League of Legends recently, and I didn't understand what to do, so I just stopped.
Yeah, I have no clue.
uh,
Now you said your number 5 was Mortal Kombat, right?
yep.
What's your number 4?
Number 4 is going to be Superman 64. You
Dude. Okay, one, I've never played it, but two, if you type in worst video games of all time, I almost guarantee the first thing that'll pop up is a Reddit thread, and if you click on that Reddit thread, one of the first games you'll see referenced is Superman 64.
Yeah. Uh, I whenever I was doing research for this list, I saw that, and it reminded me of the pain that I felt playing that game as a child. First of all, old game, horrible graphics. That's nothing. Flying through the hoops and the bad controls, it's just so painful. And like you're a kid, your tiny hands barely fit on a 64 controller.
Yeah.
Dude, I cannot describe to you how awful this game is. It's horrible. Uh,
I'm gonna have to watch some gameplay.
Dude, you have to. It, it it's just horrid.
Because everybody makes it seem like it's one of those, like, car crash you can't look away from bad. Not like one of those, oh, it's fun bad.
No, you know the what's the there's it's an ET game that got voted like the worst game of all
that's
time.
that's that's on the same Reddit thread.
Yeah. Uh because that got voted the worst. I would argue that this is the worst game of all time.
Wow, that's
What
impressive.
what do you got for 4?
This is a very biased entry into my list. Ark Survival Evolved. And let me go ahead and I think I've explained it to you before, but I'll explain why it's a very biased entry. I bought the game because I was like, oh, open world survival dinosaurs. You get to tame them, whatever. Sounds awesome. I tried to play that game 5 separate times. And every single time I loaded in to a server, I loaded into someone's base or someone's little tent where their door was locked and I couldn't leave.
What?
Literally, I loaded into this one guy. He had this gigantic wall built around his base. I'm like, wow, this is cool. And I found the door, couldn't open it. All of his doors locked because I'm not his friend or part of his clan or however they work that game. I don't know the system. Um, Next time I tried to load in, I spawned inside this guy's. It I don't even remember what it looked like. It looked like a tent, and I spawned on his fire. And I don't remember if it was burning me or not, but I know that I couldn't move. And I'm pretty sure I died. Either he came back and killed me, one of his dinosaurs killed me, or the fire killed me. Something killed me. I don't know. But I tried that, and 5 separate occasions that happened to me. And I'd already bought it on disc. It had already been past the return time.
Oh.
I didn't even bother trying to sell it because I was like, if this game's that bad, I'm not doing this to somebody else. I'm not gonna put that on them. I'm gonna hold on to it and just every time I look at it, I'll remember how much I hate this game.
We played me, Shane, and his wife and his friend Jacob. We played Ark for a little bit, and it was fun. It was fun, and then one day we got on and they server wiped, and we lost everything.
Why did they server wipe?
I guess that's just a thing that some people do.
Well, kind of like Rust.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I just remember we logged on, saw that we lost everything, logged out and uninstalled the game and never touched it again.
Wow.
I mean, it's the same thing. Same reason I don't like playing Rust. I think Rust is a great game. I love Rust, but I don't have time to protect my base 24/7, and offline raiding makes me so mad.
You see, I had a much different experience with Rust, and that's because I found a server that was hosted locally near, of course, where we live.
Mhm.
And there were, I think, the max player count, not even online, just the max players in that server were about 20.
Hmm.
And I think the biggest group was like 3 or 4. And you would have some people that would try to raid, but for the most part, it was kind of just like a nice chill. Everybody's kind of doing their own thing. They're not really wanting to help you out, but they begrudgingly will sometimes. And then, of course, you've got the guys that'll just show up and they'll try to break into your base and murder you. That happened a couple times, but it was actually fun because it wasn't torture.
Right. I've been willing to give Rust a try recently. I think I have it downloaded. I think I played it a few weeks ago, but you know how hard it is to get started in that.
Yeah.
So I don't think I got very far. But moving on, my third worst game is going to be Raft.
Really? That's a
Yeah.
game I've not played.
So it's a survival game, just like typical eat, drink, but you're on a raft and you constantly, repetitively, if you will, throw a hook into the sea, pull back the supplies, and then you get the supplies and you can build your raft and just like
Now,
make it bigger, add stuff like food sources, chests, water. But there's no story in that game whatsoever. At least when I played it. I don't know if they've updated it. There was no story when I played it. It was just cast hook in sea, bring back stuff, build
there were no
raft.
land masses.
I mean, yeah, but there's nothing on them. Nothing cool.
Okay. So like I said, I've never played it. I've seen gameplay on YouTube, and I have seen that they have added stuff on land masses. I want to say there was like dudes with guns and stuff you could loot. I still don't know if there's a story. I didn't get that far down a rabbit hole or anything, but that may be something you might want to go back and visit. I don't know.
Yeah, it was just whenever I played it, it was like child Sea of Thieves.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause Sea of Thieves is fun if you take away all that, and it's just you floating on on the water,
yeah,
or there's still sharks in the water.
yeah. There was a shark, or just a shark.
Couldn't kill it.
You could stab it because he would always like randomly come up to your. You couldn't build anything on the edge of your boat because the shark would come up and bite the edge, and then like if you didn't knock him off in time, he would take a part of the boat, which was always the edge of the boat.
Oh, that's kind of annoying.
Yeah, so everything had to be in the center. You're all cramped up and stuff. It just wasn't. It wasn't good.
Yeah, I could see that.
What do you got for three?
My third is going to be Destiny 2.
Oh, Jarrett's rolling over
And
right now.
who?
Jarrett,
He likes that game.
dude, he loves Destiny.
Did he play the first one?
Yeah,
Yeah, the first one was amazing.
played the crap out of the first one. Played the crap. Still plays the second one, as far as I know, to this day.
Well, I played the first one and I loved it, dude. It was fun. They had awesome random encounters, random events. They had the Prison of Elders. All the raids were fun. That's one of the few MMORPGs I was into. It was good. Um, but what kind of dug at me was Destiny 1 was supposed to be a 10-year game when it was released. They were supposed to improve upon it and bring out all these awesome updates and add all these things.
Mm-hmm.
And then Destiny 2 was announced, and I'm like, it's been, I don't even remember, like 3 or 4 years. I don't know the exact time, but it definitely was less than 10 years. And that already, I was like, this is a money grab. This is annoying. It was supposed to be a 10-year game, now it's not. And then, so I played it anyway, because I was like, Destiny 1's great. The whole player base is probably going to migrate, so I might as well too. And I had a little bit of fun in it, and then stopped playing it for a couple months. That turned into about a year. Come back. Now it's got a battle pass, or a season pass type thing. I had bought like the Ultimate Edition, whatever it was called, and so you got all this DLC, but I couldn't go back and play the DLC because it was like a timed thing.
Hmm.
So like they would release the DLC, it would have its season essentially, and if you missed it, you missed it.
That's
At least
that's
that was my
stupid.
experience. I could have just been, user error on my part, didn't know how to go back and play it. But as far as I know, that's what happened with me. Then there were the microtransactions, which there were some in Destiny 1, but it was way worse in 2. And it's one of those, like the game was still okay,
Hmm.
but the way they handled it made me angry. And I don't like the game because of that.
Dude, I feel like I ruined Jarrett uh because of Destiny. Because we were back in the PS3 era. Me, him, and Matt were playing games, and I had bought Destiny 1, and Jarrett was like, nah, it looks stupid. And I was like, dude, you got to get it. It's super fun. And he bought it, and he never stopped playing that game.
Oh,
Ever.
wow.
He's, like I said, to this day, still plays Destiny 2.
That is wild to me.
Yeah, I don't know how he has that much dedication to it. How do you not get bored?
I don't know, dude. We start brand new games that are amazing, and after 2 or 3 weeks, it's like, all right, let's move on.
Yeah. V Rising, a good example.
Well, I feel like we're about to go back though. They did release that awesome new update.
That's true. And I want to see what that is. But
Yeah,
okay.
and that game does have a lot of potential. It was very fun.
Okay. Coming in at my number 2
Here we
is
go. Hit me.
going to be Sims.
No.
Yeah. I
Which
hate
one? All of them?
all of them.
Ah.
I hate the Sims games, man. They're so boring. It's just
You're not playing them right.
that I guess not. I'm not like drowning my Sims or something, but it's just it feels so time consuming and mind numbing.
It
And
is a little mind numbing.
and I'm not good at building the houses. Uh, I'm not good at like checking in on my Sims and
What?
making sure what they need.
You played Minecraft. What do you mean you're not good at building the houses?
Not the Sims houses. Building in Minecraft and building in the Sims is completely different.
It's a grid system.
Yeah, well, screw their grid.
Okay, dude. So my youngest sister played The Sims, right? She loved The Sims.
Mm.
And I remember her talking about it. She used to build our family over and over and over again. And she always wanted it to come out the exact same way. So the first child had to be a boy, the second child had to be a boy, the third child had to be a girl, and the last child had to be a girl. Well, the second child at one point ended up being a girl instead of a boy. And so she threw him in a ditch and left him there. Never checked on him again. So just pretended like they didn't exist, just so the family could be right. And that's just one of the few instances. Maybe it's just hilarious to think about
Yeah,
in a video game setting.
my Sims would always die, or they get really sad, or they wouldn't listen to me.
Probably because you weren't keeping up with their needs.
Yeah, it just I don't know. Maybe I just suck at The Sims, and that's why I don't like it. But it was I don't like Sims.
And remember when we were living together, and we had two games, and I think it was Borderlands 2 and The Sims 4.
Yeah,
Those are the two games we had to play offline.
but did we ever play The Sims 4?
No, of course not. It's a single player game, and there's two of us. I played it when you were asleep.
Oh no.
All right, sliding into number 2 on my list. We've already talked about it. Star Wars Battlefront, the newest one. Star Wars Battlefront 2, the newest one.
Okay. You were more passionate about it than I was.
Much more. I'm much more passionate about pay to win.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. Pay to win sucks. It is not
Yeah.
fun. It's probably what will end up killing games.
Yeah, like idle hatred for MMORPGs and the little side fighting games and racing games. I can push that way down under scummy anti-consumer practices.
Right. Yeah, I agree. It's what I think will be the death of video games. If it ever comes, it'll be because of pay to play. I'm
Pay to
paying
play, microtransaction, ads in games, all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm paying $30 to $70 now to buy a new game, and you want me to pay more? Wrong.
Yeah, because the price for those AAA titles has gone from 59 to 69 in most cases, and that's for the bare bones. If you want all the fun cosmetics and the DLC passes and all that, you're looking at like $100 minimum. In most cases.
Yeah, Star Wars Battlefront 2 on Steam right now is $39.99. Well, okay, it's on sale right now actually for
It's still not worth it.
$4.79. Those who like it, if you want it, it's on sale right now. But
I wouldn't download it if it were free.
full price, and it's an EA game, which we'll get into that later. Full price is $39.99.
And when did it release?
2017.
Yeah.
Yeah, $40 still.
It's a 7-year-old game for $40. That's terrible.
And a not good one.
Yeah.
The reviews on it are very positive. So, but like, here's my thing though. I feel like all these reviews are going to be Star Wars fans.
Well, there's Star Wars fans. You probably have whales. You probably have some bots on there. Or maybe, I think I'd read somewhere they may have done something with the pay-to-win system. But at that point, you kind of dug yourself a hole. If you do away with the pay-to-win system, all the people who paid to win are now screwed. If you keep it in, all the people who can't pay to win are screwed. I mean, that's essentially you digging yourself into a hole.
Yeah. This comment says that EA abandoned this game to focus on Battlefield 2042.
Which I heard also flopped.
Yeah.
I don't know much about. I never played it. Didn't look at the reviews. Didn't follow the game. But all I've heard is that it wasn't a good game.
The most recent review is this game is flooded with hackers.
Well, they didn't put too much time in it.
Every shot I fired, every enemy all at once, doesn't matter. No kills. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So coming in at my number 1.
Here we go.
My least favorite game of all time. Pogo Stuck.
Oh, no. I know exactly why. Oh, I've played it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody who's watched a Markiplier video on it has probably played it.
Pogo Stuck. I don't know how he did that game. And I guess because he gets paid well for playing games. So he has the time and the patience to do it.
But would you, if you were getting paid, would you still play that game?
If it was
at the top of your worst games ever list, would you play that game?
If it was paying me well, would I sell out? Yes.
Well, the good thing about that game is you probably for your videos wouldn't have to overreact because it is that infuriating. I'll give you that.
It is. I don't think I made it past the second area to the bees. I made it to the bees and never made it past them. And I so many times. Rage games in general.
Getting flashbacks.
I am. It's horrible flashbacks of that horrible game.
It's like a worse version of, you remember that game, that Flash game, where you were like a dude in like a Segway, and you'd go rolling and you have to jump, and you could like throw yourself off of it, and Rhett and Link played it. Not Rhett and Link. I cannot remember the name of that game. There was like spikes and stuff, and people made their own custom maps that you could play.
Yeah.
You landed on a platform, and it'd be like, da-da, you win.
Yeah. Happy Wheels.
Happy Wheels. It's like a worse version of Happy Wheels.
Happy Wheels as a kid was fun.
It was free. You didn't have to download it. It was awesome. It was a great game. Flash games were awesome.
Yeah. What was that website? Addictinggames.com.
Addictinggames.com, Newgrounds.
Go there, play Kitty Cannon.
Board, I think it was board.com.
Did you ever play Kitty Cannon?
Yeah.
Dude.
And Toss the Turtle.
Yeah.
That's where I first found that Stick Fight game. That Stick Fight game that's on Steam.
I have that game.
It had a much better Flash game, alternate, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like third person in like an office, and you'd run around and you'd kill people. I think that was just one of the maps was the office, but it was, oh my gosh, it was fun, dude.
There was
That was my
one.
COD before COD.
There was one Flash game where you were like, I want to say like an executionist or something.
What?
It was like an execute like so there was this guy behind this like glass door or glass wall, and you could press a button and like it would say like chainsaw. You press chainsaw, and the chainsaw comes down through the roof and like cuts him in half.
Oh, I think I did play that one. That one and Kill Your Boss, I
Yeah,
think was
yeah,
one of
yeah.
them.
And then there was one that was it was like a word game, not like Scrabble, but like uh, you turn down a dark hallway and you see nothing. What do you do?
Oh, Text Adventure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
those games were always fun.
those were interesting. I never had a ton of fun playing them, but I did kind of like them.
With you get like some friends around you. I played it at the Boys and Girls Club.
Ah, okay. Yeah, see, if
So
I had people, maybe I was always playing them solo.
yeah, if you have some people around you and people are like, no, 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 try to turn on a light, try to do something,
Yeah.
and then it's like you die and everyone's like, ah. But Pogo
All right,
Stuck rage game horrible. Don't play it. Don't
that's
ever touch
fair.
it.
I didn't even think about that game making this list. Like I said, we had just, I guess, different tracks we were going down because my number one is Fallout 76.
Mm,
It was the personal disappointment coupled with the blunder of a release, the ridiculous decisions made post release that affected the fans' wallets and the quality of the stuff that they had paid hundreds of dollars for.
yeah,
All of that just culminates into me hating that game.
dude. I
And I
remember.
wanted to like it so bad.
I remember back whenever we first moved into our old apartment, and we were watching E3 in the living room, and them announcing Fallout 76, and them stating because this was like coming off the hype of like Far Cry 5, and they were like, it's gonna be online multiplayer, and getting so excited for that game.
Yeah, because my immediate thought when I heard online multiplayer was, oh my gosh, I'm going to have a 4-person co op Fallout game.
Yeah, that's exactly like I thought that there would be a story mode and you could go through the story together. Like instead of companions, you could do it with friends.
Yeah,
I didn't think about that game making this list, but you're right. That should have been on my top 10.
I think if you care about games and especially like what the developers and the publishers do after release to make it worse, because I know I'd mentioned the whole canvas bag thing and all that, and then of course there was the whole Fallout First. You can pay to have more storage. That's also kind of a pay to win element. Um, it's all just very scummy, in my opinion, and I think that should make everyone's list if you actually care about the anti-consumer practices.
Yeah, it's just that game was so hyped and then to give us this like Destiny clone that
Well,
was
no, it was
worse than
worse.
Destiny.
Yeah, because there's no NPCs. It's like here's a. I get it. It's supposed to be a wasteland, but it doesn't have to be the most. Fallout New Vegas, a wasteland in a desert, had more to do than Fallout 76.
Yeah. Yeah. It it was horrible. I
Blows my mind.
yeah, I can't believe that game was so bad. And like I'm really scared if they ever make a new Fallout game.
If they
I'm
tell me it's
scared.
online, if it's more than 4 players, I'm just not even gonna pay attention to it.
Yeah, I won't. If they say it's online, I'll wait.
Yeah, I've learned my lesson. I bought the game twice.
Yeah, did you really?
Yeah, I bought it when it first came out because I didn't know what it was. And then after they started doing updates, Max was like, "Hey, I've been really getting into the game," and I'm like, "All right, well, maybe with friends it'll be a salvageable game," and it wasn't.
I
Yeah,
remember.
you had a minuscule amount of fun, and it sucked.
Yeah, I remember when you guys were on the Fallout 76 train for like a week.
Yeah, yeah, because he was like, "Let's start new characters." I'm like, "No, I
No.
really don't want to do that."
Yeah, and I remember you guys
It was
trying to convince me to get it. I was like, I don't
well, because I
wanna.
think by the time we were convincing you, I think it was on Game Pass.
Yeah, but it's
Because
not
I think it
crossplay.
no, it wasn't.
But
It might be now. I don't know. I haven't
yeah,
paid attention to it
I
at all.
guess if you have Xbox Game Pass, you can play Xbox games with people. Because that's how I played Power World with Jacob.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I didn't like 76 whenever I first played it, and
No.
it never got better for me.
You have any honorable mentions for your list? Didn't quite make it.
I'll go 76 for sure. Uh, because that, like I said, that should have been on my list. Let me take a look here.
All right. While you're looking, I'll go ahead and throw one of mine in there. Borderlands 3 is one of my honorable mentions.
Which is crazy because of how much you like Borderlands 2.
Absolutely. And a lot of people, they throw some smackdown on the pre-sequel. It's fun with a friend.
Mm-hmm.
I had a blast. The story's a little shallow, I think, but it's still fun. But Borderlands 3 played less like Borderlands with a much more shallow story and characters. And the one thing I would give it is the guns. The guns were kind of cool. You got two different elements you can switch and kind of customize them and whatnot. But it doesn't redeem it. I didn't care for it. I'm ashamed that I bought
Uh, I'm ashamed that I have it.
it.
I also own it. I own it, bought it. I think I bought it full price. Never beat it.
I beat it. I beat it twice
Uh,
because Elijah and I ran through it in like 2 nights
mm,
once.
one of my honorable mentions, Cyberpunk 2077, which, hear me out. I know that they've updated it, and I know it's supposed to be better now.
Is
But
it a
whenever,
release thing?
but yeah, whenever I played it, when I pre-ordered it because I thought it was going to be a really good game. I walked into one of the first areas into this room. The door locked behind me. The game glitched, and I could not get out of the room. It was, and I googled it. I was researching stuff, and it was a game-breaking glitch. They were like, "Oh, you're just gonna have to restart."
Wow.
I was like, "Oh, I guess I'm gonna uninstall it," and I did.
Well, I was gonna say, and then that happened in Fallout 4 too. I don't know if you remember. There was an elevator you could get stuck in. You couldn't fast travel out of it. It just broke your game.
Do you remember your Fallout 3 game-breaking glitch?
Yeah. The reason to this day, I still don't think I've ever beaten that game.
That's crazy. I remember watching that happen to you.
It happened twice,
Yeah,
back to
because
back, two different playthroughs.
that sucks.
Because I the first time I
It
think I did some of the no, I did all the DLC, and I got to the end where you're going to fight Colonel Autumn, and you killed his two guards, you kill him, and then the speaker just basically tells you, hey, you still got to clear the room.
yeah,
Reloading saves does nothing.
yeah, because I remember it was at the end of the game. It was like the last thing you had to do.
All you have to do after that, if you kill him and she allows you into the chamber like she's supposed to, you input the code and the game's over.
Yeah,
And
I,
then so I restarted the game, did everything, all the DLC again, everything, killed Colonel Autumn, bam, got to clear the room. Nobody's alive. Broken.
yeah, I remember watching that, and because like I hadn't beaten Fallout 3 yet, and you were right there, and I was like, oh god, yeah, yeah. What?
Yep. Because I
Uh,
even tried reloading to where before I got in the room, because I'm like, okay, cool, I'll just reload out of the room, go back in the room, we're good. No, it's broken.
another honorable mention for me would be Chivalry 2.
Yeah,
Just disappointing.
yeah.
That's it.
It
Uh,
is. It is kind of fun for a little while, but I can't marathon that game.
no, and up beside it is For Honor for the same reason.
Mm. I beat that story with Elijah in about 4 hours,
I
and then
didn't
the multiplayer sucked.
I didn't even know the game had a story.
Yeah, the story was the best part of it, and it still sucked.
That's awful.
Yeah.
And do you have any
Um,
more honorable mentions?
I've got one. Honestly, I don't even remember the name of it. It was like a $20 PS4 indie game, um, and I paid for it, and it was. I don't even remember what it was supposed to be. I remember I had a sword, and I walk up, and there's a boss, and he's invincible, and I couldn't leave, and I was stuck in there with him. And it wasn't like it was a puzzle, it was literally just a circular chamber with pillars. There was no special spots you had to hit on them because I played for like 30 minutes running around this room trying to figure out what to do. Maybe I'm an idiot, but it's going to make it up there because I think the game was just broken when it was released. And I think it's been delisted since because I've been trying to find it for about 4 days now and can't.
Do you remember what it's called?
No. If it's not delisted or if you purchased it and they let you keep it if it is delisted, it's still on my PlayStation, but that's I don't even want to take the time to go down there and turn it on and figure it out.
Right.
I just know I'm calling it. I literally have it typed in as unnamed PS4 indie game, and it stuck with me, and it's up there. It only didn't make the list because I don't remember the name.
Man. All right. Well, moving on from the top 10 worst games, let's move on to news. So you had something that you wanted to share about the.
Yeah, it's probably a fairly quick one. So after the whole Helldivers 2 thing, I know we talked about it last week, and then 15 minutes after we ended our last podcast, Sony tweeted out their reversal of their decision to require PSN logins. However, they have not listed those games for purchase in the countries where they originally delisted them. And the Ghost of Tsushima Sucker Punch devs, while the whole debacle was going on during the weekend, had tweeted out like, "Hey, Ghost of Tsushima does not require PSN login if you want to play solo, only if you want to play online or the Legends game mode." Okay, so he was kind of trying to do a little damage control, like, "Hey, don't freak out. You can still buy our game. You can still play our game." You know, he's trying to get ahead of it. Recently, though, May 10th, I believe. Today's the 13th, so May 10th, SteamDB was updated, their page, the Ghost of Tsushima page, that it's now delisted in, I think, nearly 200 countries. Just like Helldivers 2, so you cannot purchase the game in those countries. And currently it's pre-order, so Steam, Epic, and I want to say it's Green Man Gaming was the other site people had pre-ordered on, are already mass issuing refunds to all of those people who have done it, who have pre-ordered the game.
I like that they're just going ahead and doing it. They're like, we've done this before.
Well, I'm sure they're doing it for a couple reasons. I don't know the legality on it. I'm not going to pretend to know that. But just face saving, that's massive if you go, "Hey, I know you paid for this game already, but you won't be allowed to play it." So yeah, it makes sense for them to give their money back. I agree. I do like that. But I do have a question for you. So of course, Sony with Helldivers 2, it's one of their few forays into the PC market, and of course they almost bungled that completely with that whole Helldivers 2 thing. How do you think the Ghost of Tsushima thing, is going to affect their foray into the PC market?
I used to be a really big Sony fan back in the console wars era, like PS versus Xbox.
Yeah.
But the older I've gotten, the more I've realized how greedy Sony is with their content.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
It's just, I think it's disappointing because, coming from, my favorite game developer is Naughty Dog, and they're listed with Sony.
Yep.
But I think at this rate, Sony will be the first console to go down.
Yeah, the last I'd read, they still hadn't met their target sales this year for PS5s.
That's because they haven't released anything good on it.
No, well, that and if you look at the bungling, the ridiculousness that's going on right now on their PC market, because over half their Helldivers 2 sales were PCs, were PC players in the U.S.
Yeah.
And even the U.S. guys are like, "Hey, no, if you're not going to let other people play it like you promised them, essentially, we're not playing it, and we're going to review bomb you. We're demanding you undo this."
Yeah.
And now they're going to go ahead and say, "Hey, we know you pre-ordered the game." I'll tell you what, Epic Games and this is going to be a whole different podcast at some point, but Epic Games has done something similar with Metro Exodus. When it was released, it had a Steam page. People had been pre-ordering it on the Steam page, and I think it was maybe a little over 2 weeks before the game released, it went Epic exclusive. I don't know if you heard about this.
I did not.
Yeah. So they said, hey, sorry, Steam guys. You'll still get the game when it releases on Steam with all the DLC, but it's Epic exclusive for now.
That's ridiculous.
I thought so too. They got so much backlash on that, in fact, that they I don't know if it was a sales call or what it was, but they came out essentially and said, that was we really regret doing that because it
Yeah.
made our store look bad. We've learned. We won't do it again.
Dude,
Which is
yeah. Sorry,
Go
I was
ahead.
gonna say people need to start being a lot nicer to Steam because every year more and more people are moving to moving to PC, and Steam is pulling a lot of power.
good guy Steam.
Yeah, they're pulling.
Steam's pro consumer.
Yeah, they're pulling. I would say a good like 70% of gamer market right now, and I would say it's growing every year.
It's definitely, if you're looking at a PC market, I would say a 70% is a good solid number for them.
Yeah,
In fact, I think that is the number for them.
I pulled that percentage out of my butt, but good.
Well, I think because I've done a lot of research on the whole Epic thing, and I
Yeah.
think they do have a 70% market share on the PC.
Yeah,
So
it's to the point where they can significantly affect the market.
easily, yeah.
I mean, prime example is Helldivers. Sony was like, "Oh, you can't play it unless you have PSN." Steam released all, or at least a lot of the refunds, and then Sony was like, "Never mind."
Yeah. Well, it was that, and then of course they didn't realize, I guess, because they haven't really done a lot of PC stuff. I think they've got the God of War Ragnarok is on there. I want to say they were bringing Horizon Zero Dawn. I don't even know if that's out yet, but I think they were bringing that one over.
Yeah, and
So they don't
Ragnarok's
have
supposed to be
a
coming.
lot of data for their PC market, and all they would have to do is any research at all, and it doesn't seem like they're doing it, which kind of blows my mind how you're going to enter like a brand new environment knowing nothing and expect to do well,
And then
making
like
decisions like
yeah, and
this.
then start trying to like make rules like it's your market.
Yeah, I think what happened is they're so used to having their console where they can do whatever they want on there. There was the price hike for PlayStation Plus. You remember PS3 was free online to play.
Yeah,
PS4 they were like, "Hey, you're gonna pay, but guess what? It's $10 cheaper than Xbox."
yeah, $10
So we got
cheaper
that going
and a
for us.
free game every month.
But there was a price hike. I think it was this year, and it's ridiculously expensive now.
Yeah, it's called like PlayStation Now or something. It's like
Oh,
seven.
don't get me started on that. That's
Yeah,
the PS Now is. I went and got Fallout New Vegas, one of my favorite games, to play on that because with it, the PlayStation didn't have until the 5 backwards compatibility,
mm-hmm.
which
Which
is
also is
also a
stupid.
little mind-boggling. Yeah. So I went to go do that, and they were like, "Oh, you can play it, but it's through our emulator service. Essentially, it's an offline game, and it was lagging because of my connection,
Yeah,
horribly, like unplayably so."
dumb.
Which is almost the whole reason I bought an Xbox One. It's just so I could play Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah,
I had the disc.
I hope that Naughty Dog makes it out in time, and then Sony will probably fall.
Well, it depends, dude. Microsoft just closed down 3 of their developers.
That's
I don't,
interesting.
and one of them had a Game of the Year entry,
That's
or it
crazy.
might have won Game of the Year. I don't remember who it was. I just kind of glanced through the article, but yeah, they just closed down 3 studios.
Huh.
I don't know what's going on over there.
All right. So let's move on from Sony corporate greed, and
Nice.
let's talk about 7 Days to Die, because I don't. You played the game, didn't you?
Yeah, I had two different experiences. I played it on console, and I played a very small amount. Actually, I don't even know if I've got an hour on Steam recorded for
So
7 Days to Die.
let's talk about the console version real quick.
No, I have 8 hours.
What did you think about the console version?
When I played it, it had essentially been abandoned.
Mm-hmm.
So it was still fun to play, but knowing that there were all the parts to build a car, but no actual way to build it, was very frustrating to me.
Right.
Because you really could tell that it was an abandoned game.
That's
So
that's horrible.
fun with friends for a little bit, but it wasn't like on my radar. Like, hey man, I'm gonna keep up with this game. I googled it. Uh, it said, hey, it's been abandoned. Unless you're on PC. I didn't have a PC at the time. Got a little annoyed. Uninstalled the game.
I
So that
I
was my
have
experience with it on console.
I have 128 hours in the PC Steam version because
You have 120 hours more than me,
yeah,
and
because
I think I've got idle
unlike
time in that.
I'm sure some of that is idle time as well. But because unlike the console, it did not get abandoned on Steam and they kept updating it, so I could make a car and did. And I played it with friends, so it was fun. The only thing that ruined it is because we found out that the server host could like turn God mode on, and he could just spawn stuff in. And once you learn something like that, the game just depletes in fun because you're like, it starts off with nobody gets something, and then everybody gets one thing, and oh, we need this thing, and so it just kind
Well,
of ruined it.
it was like our last Minecraft playthrough. Start
Exactly,
off in
exactly
survival, and
like
then
that.
you're like, hey, look, I can teleport. And then we're all like, oh, but what about this and this and this? And next thing you know, it's
Yeah,
creative with extra steps.
yeah, exactly. So it just kind of ruins the fun. Uh,
Yeah, I can see that.
but recently, uh, the developer studio, The Fun Pimps, is
No way.
100% the name of the developers,
That's absolutely wonderful.
said that the PC release in June and on console will finally, after 11 years, bring it out of alpha and release a 1.0 version of the game.
Wow.
Some of the new armor systems, new art replacing old clothes and armor systems, themed armor sets such as Farmer, Lumberjack, Commando, complete sets which grant bonuses. When in first person, hand will reflect what the player is wearing, so you can see your armor now. There's a new player character system, a new starting player character base models and customizable options, new character animations, new shades for hairs and skins and stuff, updated player profile editor accommodating to new models, and then some points of interest. Uh, so there's new areas. There's the Heaven Hotel, the Tier 2 apartment building, Tier 2 commercial business strip, Tier 4 Army Camp, Tier 5 School, and a Tier 5 football stadium that are being added. Uh, there's improvements, reduced memory usage, improved stamp performance, faster road generation, and improved road smoothing. Roads can now carve through mountains.
Oh, that's
Improvements
cool.
improvements to the preview camera, improvements to UI layout for the RGW creation, less blocky
Well,
biomes. All biomes will be present, and there is a chance that there will be one biome in the center. The burnt forest biome is now black. Do you have something to say before I go on?
yeah, I was gonna say, correct me if I'm wrong. This is a procedurally generated map.
I believe the items are.
Oh, but the map stays the same.
I believe so. I could be wrong, but I think that is right.
Okay,
There's
gotcha.
new zombies, animals, vehicles variants, so new individual zombies and textures. Which I don't know if it was like this on console, but a lot of the zombies look the same. So I'm glad to see some new.
Yeah, and there were no I mean, there may have been like 2 other variants of zombies.
Yeah, there's new zombie models that have different clothing designs, hair color, skin color, etc. New animals such as a stag, a bear, pig, boar, coyote, wolf, rabbit, and a
Oh wow,
mutated boar, which is called a grace. New
Grace.
cougar animations. There's a new bicycle, a mini bike, and a 4x4 and gyrocopter.
Okay.
New props, that's world art. So there's a new palette for recycled cans and cardboards. New campsite tents, new road decals, and players can block on top of road paint. Can place blocks on top of the road paint. So it's a massive update. Finally, after 11 years coming out of beta, and is looks like it's going to be good. Now I know that it's on an EA server now.
Really, I didn't know that.
I thought it was. I thought you were the one who told me that.
No, it's on
Epic.
Epic Online Services is what it runs off of.
Hmm.
Well, it doesn't run off of that. That Epic Online Services is something they've inserted into a lot of games and a lot of older games. Um, and they say it's so you can do integrated friends list with Epic Store and Steam Store.
Hmm.
But a lot of people, I don't have any evidence to back this up because I haven't looked too much into Epic Online Services. But they say it's malware, spyware, bloatware,
Right.
etc., etc. So, what annoys me is a lot of people have said that, Killing Floor 2, old game, for some reason it's quietly been introduced into that game and it's broke it for some people. And there's, examples of a couple other games.
Hmm.
And that is one of those. It's an 11-year-old game. They've slid it in there. I don't know how it's going to affect it.
Right. On top of all those new updates coming to the PC version, the full version is also going to be released on console. So they're finally revamping the console as well.
See, I think what I like most about hearing all of this, aside from like the game it's gonna be better and it's gonna have new stuff, so it'll be kind of shiny and new after 11 years, is knowing that there's still people out there that won't just abandon a game
Right.
because it was abandoned. I guess technically it wasn't. It just felt abandoned on console, but they're like, hey, we're still working on it. Eventually, it will be updated. And I was like, yeah, whatever. We've heard it before. It's never gonna happen. I'll
Well,
just buy it on PC.
even on Steam, after a while, it stopped being developed. They just, I don't know if it stopped. It's just I don't know. I guess they were working on this.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense if it's that massive of an update. Yeah,
Yeah, it got pushed to the wayside. Uh,
it's just it kind of brings hope for all those other games that I see that either haven't been released yet and they were announced like years ago, or games that are still in early access. It's
yeah,
nice to know that not all of them will be given up on.
yep. Speaking of new updates, I've heard that Starfield is also getting an update.
Yeah, I haven't looked too much into it, but I mean, it looks fairly massive. I don't know. You've played it, right?
Yeah, I
I
played a fair chunk of it.
Yeah, I played a little bit. I was really disappointed.
I was too. I thought that it felt like Space Fallout but empty.
Exactly. Yeah, I played 32.7 hours of this game on Steam. None of that was idle time. Because I remember vividly, this was one of the games I was very excited about. That same E3, they announced Fallout 76. They announced Starfield.
Yeah,
And I was very excited for it, waiting and waiting for it. And then it comes out, and it's empty, and none of the characters are fleshed out.
yeah,
They all seem like they have just the bare minimum to make them seem like people-ish. And then I felt like I was playing, fast travel simulator.
yeah. I mean, I agree.
You fast travel to a system, you fast travel to the planet, you fast travel to the surface, you get out, you do your thing, you fast travel to your ship, back to the planet, back to the new galaxy. That was most of the game for me, and I didn't
Yeah,
care for it. And everything else, it didn't make up for it. The gunplay was nothing special, the environment was nothing special because for the most part it was 100% empty. There weren't even that many enemies out there to fight until you got to the place you were going, and then there were enemies there. It felt like a AAA early access title.
Yep, I couldn't agree more with you. It felt very empty and just I want to say boring. I don't like in Bethesda games the fast travel option. I like in Skyrim and in Fallout. I'm not saying that I don't fast travel because sometimes I do, but I like walking the distance. I like the experience and getting immersed into the world.
Yeah, I agree.
But
And
go on.
I was going to say, but in this game, it's a chore to get to where you're going because there
Yeah,
is nothing in the way.
yeah,
Like at least in Fallout or Elder Scrolls or any of those, there's random world encounters that have a chance to spawn, or there's minor little enemies along with saber-toothed tiger or a ghoul,
yeah.
something,
Something
just to keep you,
on your
entertained while you're walking through
on your
nothing.
toes, and
Yeah,
then like random encounters, like you said, random encounters are like one of the best parts about Bethesda games.
exactly.
Like Fallout 3, where you can run into that chick from the vault that you started. I forgot her name. It starts with an A.
Yeah, it's the lady
Yeah,
that does the poem for you.
the overseer's son or daughter. I mean,
Amada?
yeah, Mata. You remember that? You can run into her, and then she's like, "Hey, we need help actually," and you go into your old vault, help out, and then you get kicked back out again.
Yeah, that is the one thing I wish they had done differently is no matter what you don't kill the overseer, you do everything right, you leave, you come back, you help them again, and they're still like, but you can't stay. Get out of here.
Yeah,
Appreciate the help. We're not paying you. Leave.
but so apparently May 15th. I'm just gonna
Oh,
go
this is
down.
May 15th.
Yeah, for Starfield.
Yeah, I'm not gonna look at, every single tiny thing, but some of the things I was kind of excited about. The ship decoration that you can now add, and I think it's gonna be functional decoration
Yeah, that allows you
that
to
they're
place furniture and decorations on your ship interior.
yep. That I kind of like. Of course, you've got the general stability, performance, um, pathfinding, all that cool stuff that they're gonna fix. It's nothing. It's not shiny, but it's useful and it's needed.
Yeah. New
Um,
gameplay options that allow you to change every aspect from enemy damage to carry weight. Sounds like mods to me.
it kind of does, and that was one of the things I didn't really care for was the carry weight. I understand if you want to make it more realistic, but why is my Skyrim guy able to start off the game carrying 300 pounds?
Yeah.
Back then, you should have some kind of like crazy backpack right now in space. You're traveling through galaxies. You got aliens and laser weapons. Why do I not have a backpack that can carry like 1,000 pounds? Because
Yeah.
you know me, I will walk over encumbered across the map to make some money.
A new detailed maps for the cities and planets. I think that could be interesting.
It's much needed. Especially, I know one of the big things was going to be, and this is something Ralph had touched on too, were city maps, and that's something I'd noticed. It was almost like how in all the Fallout games and stuff, you have a local map and you have the world map.
Yeah.
I don't think they had a local map,
I don't think they did either.
and that's what they're gonna be bringing, which is I think amazing.
Yeah. And many more bugs and fixes. There's a whole list here. Some of them aren't worth mentioning, like 60 FPS performance for Xbox doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
Some other just like bug fixes, but
yeah, but looking through bug fixes, I'm looking through the gameplay section, and there's probably like 20 to 25 bullet points. And
mhm,
I feel like this is something that shouldn't take one large update. This is something they should go, okay, we understand the problem. It's there. Let's release a little patch, 100,
right,
400 kilobytes, megabytes, whatever. Fix that patch and wait for the next one.
yeah. But
I don't feel like it should be this big thing.
the one thing that I do like about it is that these are apparently requested features. Some of these
That
features
is nice.
are so they're listening to their market and they're adding the stuff that the people want, which I can get behind. Like we Helldivers, get behind someone who does that.
Yeah. And it's still a fairly new game. This was October 14th, 2023.
Yeah. So
Or no, 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 sorry. Actually, that's 100% wrong. That's the last time I played the game. Wow. Because I didn't care for it that much. It was released September 5th, 20. So it is still a fairly new game.
Yeah. Uh,
Okay.
but you know what? If it fails, we have Elder Scrolls 6 to look forward to eventually.
Well, if it's anything like this, I'm not looking forward to
I,
it.
I hope it's more like. Actually, I don't even want to say it. I hope it's like Skyrim, because if they sell me Skyrim again, I'm quitting.
Well, even if you look at it though, if you go to Morrowind, to Oblivion, to Skyrim, there's mechanics that they constantly dumb down. It's like they're dumbing it down for their audience. I don't know if they think their audience is dumb or
Probably a little of both.
I don't know. But story wise and atmosphere wise, yeah, Skyrim's and Oblivion, they all did great there.
Yeah.
I'll give it that.
All right. Coming in lastly, for gaming news, about EA.
EA, we're back, buddy.
Yeah. About
We're looking at you.
how EA is trying to implement ads into their already bought games. So
Yeah, and this isn't something that's new. You know, in UFC 4, they were doing full screen ads for the boys. Now, of course, luckily the community had a lot of backlash to deliver on that one, and they backtracked and they said, okay, yeah, that's kind of crappy.
right.
But you know, you've got also the little ones like Alan Wake, little Duracell batteries. That's okay with me. You know, that's not really like an ad in your face. That's kind of like an atmospheric thing, kind of like an immersion thing, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you had Burnout Paradise billboards, Street Fighter 5 that kind of had real life ads on there, and to me that one bothers me a little bit more than the Duracell, because the Duracell isn't that bad, but that one bothers me more because you have a different universe, a different setting, and you're doing ads for our universe in that setting. Makes no sense. It's out of place. It breaks the immersion immediately.
Right.
And then you had FIFA, which of course is set in our universe, and they had ads like you would at a regular soccer game. Which that, whatever. You know what? That is actually adding to the immersion. That's a smart implement. I'm not necessarily for it, but if you're gonna do it like that. And
That's yeah. Go on.
I think with the whole UFC 4 thing, that's what they're kind of learning. I still don't have high hopes for it because it's EA, right? And this
Mm-hmm.
is the article that I'm looking at is about their recent earnings call between the CEO and some investors. So I'm sure he's trying to get money from the investors to say, hey, look, we can do ads. It'll be dynamic and it'll be thoughtful, so people will still want to play and buy our games. But I don't have high hopes for it.
Yeah.
I
That's what
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say. That's what I'm hoping for. Is that if they do it, which it seems like they're gonna do it, they make it like over the announcement, like you're playing Madden, and they're like, check out the new blah blah blah. You
But you
know?
know what? Like I said, sports games, it makes sense. It's set in our
Yeah.
universe. It's ads that you'd probably hear if you went to a regular sports game, or you'd at least see there.
Yeah. But if it's like, I swear to God, if I'm playing an EA game and I'm in the middle of something epic and I get smacked with a 1 minute ad that I can't skip, like a mobile game,
Oh my god, yeah.
I will
Well, or even
never
if, like,
touch.
imagine you're walking through Fallout 4, right? And you look
Mm-hmm.
over and there's a poster for Tide Power Wash.
Oh,
And then you walk a little further, like let's say you're in Concord and there's a TV that's working and you're seeing a cereal commercial on that
right.
TV for like corn pops or something. I don't like that. I don't want that. I paid $70 for this game.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't have to see these ads.
Yeah, I agree. If I'm paying full price, $70, even if the game is on sale, and if I am buying your game, I should not have to sit through advertisements because that's not part of the game.
No. And here's an actual quote from the CEO. He says, "As we think about the many, many billions of hours spent both playing, creating, watching, and connecting, and where much of that engagement happens to be on the bounds of a traditional game experience, our expectation is that advertising has an opportunity to be a meaningful driver of growth for us. Now,
So
essentially, you break that politician's statement down.
yeah,
He's saying a lot of people play these games, millions of people spend billions and billions of hours playing these games. Imagine the money we could make if we just
sell
slid
out.
this in there
Yeah,
and said, we don't care how your experience is, you're still going to buy our game, you're still going to play our game, and we're going to make double the money, if not
yeah,
more.
yeah. I mean, it's 100% selling out.
It's anti-consumer.
Yeah. Well,
I've thrown that word out so many times already, but it's what it is.
who is that company that it's the people who make Assassin's Creed that were like
Ubisoft.
who were just like you have to get used to realizing that you don't own the games.
You know what's even more scummy? If you paused the game or you went to look at your map, and I think it was Odyssey or Origins. I think it was Origins. If you went to look at your map, they actually had ad banners on the map. Now they were still advertising Ubisoft stuff, like the next Assassin's Creed game or a sale they were having on microtransactions or something like that. But it's like, I'm in the game, I'm in this world, I'm immersed. If I
Hmm.
go to look at my map and I see that ad, it's broken. You
Yeah,
have now ripped me against my will out of this world
yeah. I miss the old days where you could just find Easter eggs in games.
and unlock all the content by being good at it.
Yeah, or just like oh god, I mean it just brings me back to like the Mario 64 thing, El Israel 2042.
Yeah.
Like it just I don't know. I feel like a lot of companies are selling out now, and it's sad because I think we're watching the decline of our era of video games just dying out.
It's definitely an erosion.
Yeah,
They're
and
seeing what they can get away with to make more and more money.
yeah,
It started with DLC, then you had microtransactions, then you had the season passes.
it
Now you've
also
got, because
go on.
used to you'd pay for a game and it'd be $60 before tax,
Yeah,
$59.99. Or you could pay $70, $80 and you'd get the DLC season pass. Now you pay 70 or you pay $80 to $90, you're getting cosmetics, and you pay over $100, then you're getting a season pass. There's now a third tier they've introduced into that system.
yeah.
So it's like they're breaking an already shitty system down into more and more money making schemes, and I
Yeah.
don't like it.
I don't either. It all started with Fortnite. I'll blame Fortnite all the time for making paywalls such a popular thing in video games.
I would go so far as to say it was a culmination of Epic Games and EA Games that have done this to us.
Yeah, I mean,
Because I don't know. Go ahead.
I don't know. I don't play a lot of EA games, so I can't. I've played a few Madden games in my life. I've played a few UFC games, but Fortnite got really popular. Still to this day, very very popular. And they introduced the Battle Pass paywall aspect to games.
Oh, and
And
so many people latched onto that immediately. As
yeah,
soon as it went over with the fans and they allowed it,
yeah,
could you imagine if they had a backlash on that like Sony just had with the whole Helldivers 2 thing?
I
That
it
Battle
would have
Passes
stopped it.
probably would not be in games
Yeah,
right
it
now.
would have stopped it right at the start.
Yeah.
But
Now,
now
granted,
because it
they would
didn't,
have found, I think they would have found another way.
I mean, sure,
It would have been a different system, but it would have stopped that right there. And it would have said, hey, we are gamers. We care about what we're playing. We care about how we spend our money. Stop it.
yeah. But Fortnite, it, like, I mean, it's so big and it's such a huge paywall. Like, you can buy like Dragon Ball Z character skins, Naruto skins, Star Wars, rappers. You could buy like an Eminem skin, a Nicki Minaj skin. Nicki
Yeah.
Minaj is in Call of Duty even.
Did they have Cheech and Chong in Call of Duty? I saw the other day. Snoop Dogg is in
Yeah,
Call of Duty.
yeah,
Nah, I'll tell you what, it is funny because I was over at my sister's house and Our boyfriend was playing Call of Duty, and he was showing me the Cheech and Chong thing because I guess he had bought it. And there was the gun where if you shoot somebody and you kill them, it rolls them up.
That
Which
is
it's funny.
that
It's
is
funny.
funny.
It's not worth real money, but it is funny.
Yeah. Yeah. It just I don't know. It's a nasty stain that I hope goes away eventually.
It's just going to take gamers finally putting their foot down and say, we're not going to spend our money.
Like with Helldivers.
Yeah. Well, and see, that's a unique scenario, I think, because so many people within 3 months had already spent their money.
Yeah.
I think the only reason Sony backed down with that one is because they're still trying to etch out their niche in the PC market to try to carve out a little piece of that pie as well for themselves.
I wonder if they could
And
have
when they
sued them. If someone could have sued them for that.
there had been people talking about like EU regulations. I don't think in the US they could have, but
No,
it
but
also
like
didn't
someone,
affect really anybody in the US.
yeah, someone who like bought the game, but PSN wasn't legal in their country, but they paid full price. I don't know. I don't know anything about that
Well, and
legality.
that's tough too because they had a EULA, right? And
Mm,
essentially, if you agree to the EULA, you're also agreeing that they can change that at any time, and you have
mm.
to abide by it.
Well then,
Because
no, they couldn't.
exactly, because as gamers, that's what no one reads those,
Right.
and we've just allowed them to slip that in there. And as long as we hit, they have
Yes.
their little clause. If you agree to this and continue playing, you are agreeing to abide by all of this, and if we can change it anytime, whatever. And we've just said, okay, it's too long to read. All I want to do is play the game I paid for,
Right.
and they slide right past it.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. Oh, I hate it. I hate that it's becoming all about money and how much money can we like dig out of people.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I don't know. It's 50-50. Either it'll continue and eventually it'll be just another large business scheme, or eventually players will get passionate enough to put their foot down and they'll start backtracking some of this stuff, or at least some of the new stuff.
Yep. Or move on to like VR or something.
I'd like to say it's 60-40 in favor of players putting their foot down, just to be optimistic, and I want to leave this on a good note.
Yeah. Well, like with Helldivers, a lot of people banded together, and because of that, it got stopped.
Exactly.
So I think that says a lot about the gaming community as a whole.
I think so too. Because a lot of the people were not affected by the change at all, and they were still like, no, it's either all of us or none of us.
Yeah.
It's just
And
it's a good, let's get behind our fellow man type of mentality.
yeah, which is what gamingness has taught us throughout the years.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. Let's end it on a good note. Do you have anything else you would like to say?
I think we've kind of covered it all.
I
Yeah,
I think so too. Would you like to send us out this time?
I think so. Thank you guys for tuning in. I do have a quick update for you before we sign off. We were going to be releasing on Saturdays, um, but since this is so new and we're still working out our personal schedules and whatnot, we've changed that to Mondays. It's going to work better for both of us, and because of that, it's going to work better for all of you. Um, so I appreciate y'all tuning in. Until next time, stay cheesy.